It was interesting on a couple of different levels. Going back and looking at the stuff after nearly 40 years, I suppose some of this stuff is. It's interesting how I perceive the songs, because I listen to them. I don't listen to them ever, but when I've got to go and perform them, I've got to go back and listen to them and relearn them. And parts of it make sense. Parts of it I don't understand, because you change a lot. So I've looked at the two albums that we're doing, which is the Raging Eden album and the Quartet album, which both came out directly after the Vienna album. And realistically, this tour that we're doing right now should have happened 2 years ago. So it made more sense, I think, to me, logically, that straight after the tour we did in 2019, which was the Vienna album and some of the Visage album, that this was going to come straight afterwards. Then the pandemic hit, and then we couldn't do anything. So it's particularly good coming out and doing this now, because for 2 years I've not been allowed to do something that I've always done. I've always taken it for granted that you could go out on tour and perform and people would come and it would be fine. And then that just disappeared. That's scary. That's something I never ever imagined that would ever happen in my lifetime. So going out now and doing these songs, relearning them, reacquainting myself with them has been fantastic so far. It's funny because, as I said, I don't listen to it. Once I've done something, I don't listen to it. It goes out into the world and other people listen to it. That's why the audience know the lyrics better than I do. They know the songs because they've listened to it on the way to the show, and then they're singing along and they see me singing the wrong words. And, you know, when you go back and visit something, and it's always happened, I go back and look at it and I think, nah, not sure. Every so often, you hear something you'd forgotten about, and you go, "Whoa, how did we do that? That's great! I've kind of fallen in love with it again." But there are certain elements of it you think, I was mid-20s or something when I wrote that, and I'm not sure what I was thinking, because I'm a different person. You're the same character, but your mind's different, your head's different. You think a different way. So what I've done, rather than play the entire two albums, I've cherry-picked. I've gone, okay, this one doesn't work for me. I don't get it. I wouldn't feel comfortable singing it, but these ones work really well. So I found that I think Raging Eden is possibly one of the most adventurous records that Ultravox ever did, because of how we did it. You know, we went to the studio with no songs. We used the studio like an instrument, like a keyboard or a guitar or whatever. And we spent 3 months and created all of that in the German countryside, you know, away from everything.
Crazy.
And that's a weird thing to do. No telephones, no connecting, no videos, no television, nothing. It was all about creating this thing. And that created a very unique atmosphere. Then we did the exact opposite with Quartet. We went to Air Studios, we worked with Sir George Martin, we worked with someone who contributed to the music, very different kind of producer. And we came up with a very different album. Funnily, the elements of that album I really don't like. It's too polished, it's too clean, it's too shiny. Whereas the previous albums, the Vienna album and the Raging Eden album, had a rough edge to it. And we polished all that off and ended up with this very shiny thing. And in some ways I prefer Raging Eden.